Support Laneside. Get something cool.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Laneside Reviews. As always, I'm the bearded beast, Rob Johnson, joined once again by Scoops Porter. And we've got some really exciting stuff to show you on this episode, so why don't we take it Laneside and see how it's stacked up.
Alright guys, welcome back. As always, we're joined by our speed dominant player, Wayne Porter.
Yeah, he's bowling on the easy house shot. Well, eventually.
Eventually on the easy house shot.
When he decides it's
Come
his
on.
turn.
He had to put his walker aside.
Oh. Ho ho.
Now, we are looking at one of Mo's last balls, the TEAMLSR.
Yeah.
So let's get into a little bit about this one. First, this is one of his last cores.
Yeah.
It is a funky looking thing.
Yes.
And then we've got a new kind of cover stock here.
The Motion Magic.
Motion magic.
Motion magic.
Motion magic. It's like motion on the ocean.
It's got an asymmetric core in it. That's all they're really calling it. But you should see it.
It's the funky Mo
yeah,
core.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, this has quite a lot of surface on it. 500,000, 1,500 plus compound. No polish.
No polish.
So that means it's going to see the lane pretty big. But this cover stock also has a fairly large footprint.
Yeah, there's something about it that makes it, I guess, I want to say softer, but not soft enough that it's breaking the rules.
Yeah,
It just leave it to him to figure out a way to,
It's like the spaghettis that are the polyols and the isopropyl whatchamacallits. They're hugging the lane.
Yeah. And Dad's so confident he's going to throw a strike here. He already set it the second ball. So.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, when you're that confident.
Yeah.
Now, when you have a ball, we talk about a large footprint.
Yeah.
These are ones I like for our speed dominant players.
Yeah.
The cover stock gets more friction. It gets more contact with the
lane. Yeah.
Which means it's going to see that mid lane better. It's going to be able to slow down with this lower RG core.
Yeah.
Which is going to potentially get together to give him some hook.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen a little bit of that. He is already, what is he, 3 or 6 deeper than where he started?
This is about the third or fourth shot, so he's probably moved about 6 boards at least.
And this is the quote-unquote magic, the motion magic of this new ball. Our speed dominant player.
Okay, well that's starting to get a little too deep.
But remember, he's still using his flat release.
Yeah, yeah.
How often do you see your dad get that deep and not have to get around the ball?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So for our speed dominant players, people who want the ball to see the mid lane and have a lot of motion at the break point, I think I'm kind of liking this.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, for Wayne, we went with the all-purpose layout on the radical drill sheet.
Yeah.
So this gives us kind of a medium pin to pat position. It's going to flare up fairly strongly. The val angle is kind of in the middle, so it's going to be a relatively fast response. And that meets up with, oh, look, you moved right. Look at that thing hook.
Wow, yeah.
It's going to give it a fairly strong response. And then that core at 020 intermediate differential, that's a fairly angular core. Yeah. You can see when that ball sees it down lane.
You can see it spin up. Look how fast that started moving.
Even for him.
Yeah.
Like, we don't get super, even shaking his head there, we don't get those super angular reactions from our speed dominant player. Here he is with there's our benchmark ball. And you can see how smooth that was.
Okay, now you're going to see a big difference.
Just a bit.
Yeah. It's just, and it's great on fresh because you can get in a little bit deeper.
Yep,
you can stay there a little bit longer. Right?
He's about 5 to 6 boards deeper, or total hook more.
Yeah.
But it also went down 3 feet longer.
Yeah. With
a much more angular shape.
Yeah.
Here you are. Tell me about your experience with this ball.
This is the benchmark shot. And
you didn't
7
strike.
pin.
How'd that happen?
Maybe it threw a little bit harder. I don't know.
Now for you were in at around 22. You're pretty straight on this.
Yeah.
For a ball this strong with a 7 pin, that might almost tell you that you have to move left.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a lot stronger than I thought it was going to be, looking at the cover stock
Yep.
and everything that was on it. But it's not like out of the box blow, cover 40 board strong. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
I'm sure we could get it there.
well, yeah. See, that one I got out a little bit wider too.
Yep.
And it still made it back. Like, I moved and then swung it wide, really test the friction.
Now, the next thing you have to do is you're going to have to get around it a little bit
Yeah.
more just to get it to shape.
Yeah.
You can see that one because it was still rolling a little bit forward.
Yeah.
If you get under it and roll it forward too much with a high differential, some of these balls can tend to roll forward a little bit off the spot. I think we saw that there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has a lot of motion.
Yeah.
For a house shot, this is not going to be a stand in the middle of the lane,
Yes.
at least for you.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
That was better. See, I didn't get quite as wide and got it back in a little bit, kind of came around it and got it to shape up right the way I want. So
This isn't going to be a stand in the middle of the lane and benchmark it for you.
No.
This is something that you're going to be able to increase your angle of attack, your entry angle for the pins, so that when the scoring pace goes up, you're going to be able to score higher.
Exactly. I can get in a little bit deeper than some of the people that have to play a little bit straighter.
Yep.
Right off the hop.
Now you moved another 3 and 2 here.
Yeah.
Now, I can say this with confidence that you didn't get all of that one.
No.
Because we wrote it down. You came back and was like, no, I missed that one.
Yeah.
But you can still see it starting to make its run back there.
Yeah.
For you, I almost think that we could take the surface up a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Get rid of the compound and maybe take it to like
to 2,000 or
3,000.
3,000. Speed up the response down lane, and then you could get even deeper with this. Because you're seeing here on the lane pattern, you don't have a
Yeah. See,
you're not
that
really
was a
getting
bit
up
better.
on
Yeah.
it. When you hit it, man, oh man, I can't believe you left a 9 pin on that. Sorry.
See, I got a little bit more on that one than I did the last one.
Yeah.
But
Normally, if you're not getting up on it,
yeah.
that would have been great.
Yeah.
Here you are. Here's Pooks, our left-handed with the TrailBlazer.
Yeah. I definitely had fun with this ball.
You can see it come off the spot there.
Yeah. It gave me a little bit of room to play. I think on a nice fresh shot, I can get a little bit deeper and I'd definitely be able to stand a little bit longer.
Yeah. Here you are with the benchmark ball. Now, I could see you opening up with something strong, a solid with a lot of surface.
Yeah.
For, through practice and even, half of game 1 or game 1. And then being able to go to this when you've got that friction point and just lighten it up. Because as long as you've got friction, this ball is going to
go. Yeah, exactly.
That was about 5 boards difference, but the same total distance. Here I am. Distance on the lane, but about 5 more boards a hook.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I went with, because of my tilt, I went with something that was a little bit longer in the layout.
Whew.
I may have thrown that one hard. That's something you don't hear me say. So I'm starting here at 23, and I just wanted to, throw that one up the board, see what I got, and that had a fair amount of hook to it.
It's still, it got there. Considering how hard they were throwing, because you were a little bit harder, I think it got a little bit further down, and
So this layout, I've gone with a little bit of a shorter pin for me.
Yeah.
A little bit of a higher val angle, though. That way, when it sees it, it doesn't just. Well, the plan was that when it saw it down lane, it wasn't just going to kick left.
Yeah. And give you control, but because of that big footprint.
Yeah, it sees the mid lane.
Yeah.
As long as there's some friction, it's going to get there. And you can see I just made a 7 and 4 move left.
Yeah.
and I'm still flat with my release and just left the 10 pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was way stronger than I expected it to be. I mean, I know it was Mo.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. He's always been a genius.
Yeah.
And he literally strapped rockets to this thing down lane.
Oh, I know. And I find too with everybody, it's the same thing. You get the surprise. Every style we have, it just seems to be a lot more than we assumed it was going to be.
Oh yeah.
And each of us could manipulate it and get that reaction that we wanted.
With that much surface without polish, I thought it was going to read and be a little angular, but
Yeah.
more smooth.
Yeah.
I'm almost curious to see how much I could bend this if I took the surface up.
Oh.
Like 3,000 plus a 5,000 D pad,
Yeah.
one of the True Cut pads. Make it really fast response, but get it to get down lane.
Yeah.
You can see I'm going to try to get around it a little bit more.
Yeah. And doing the 5,000 D pad, it's still going to be surface compared to plugging the pores, so you're
That's
still going to
right.
be able to take advantage of that big footprint, right?
That's that's a thing that a lot of people forget. When you take that compound off, you get more of the cover stock.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
Yeah.
allow it to get through the oil through surface, but it's gonna really read down.
Yeah.
Now I think if you go back and watch that last shot, that one rolled forward a little bit, being it at a higher differential. If I get the ball to rev up a little too fast, when it comes off the spot, because the hook zone is so short, it just rolls straight forward, and I think that's what happened on that 10.
Yeah, and that's an asymmetric trait, right? So
yeah, you can see I moved just a little bit back.
Yeah,
it looked amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, there's a time and space for asymmetrics and symmetrics too, right?
Yep.
I mean, this ball is phenomenal, and then sometimes you know, asymmetrics are getting to the hole perfectly and everything, and you just don't get to carry. But I don't think that would be the problem with this ball very often.
I don't think so. I think the only worry you're going to have is making sure there's enough oil.
Yeah.
So I think I'm even going to go deeper here.
Wheel and deal.
Now
Grip it and rip it.
Yeah, now I'm going to try to get around it a little bit more. See what I can do out of it. In theory. Here I come.
Yeah. It still turned the corner. Look at that.
Yeah. You can see it saw that. Yeah. It saw that friction point, moved. It did roll forward a little bit. It wasn't quite as continuous as you'd see out of, say, a higher RG ball in the same spot.
Yeah.
But it's not like it stopped hooking.
No. It carried everything out nice.
Here we are left-handed. I think we're going to get to see it come off the spot here. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. And that's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It makes that move, and it's a very short move, but it gets there, right?
Yep.
And sometimes you need that because sometimes the ball just takes off.
Now, this is not an angular ball. This is a benchmark. So I think out of all three of our bowlers, we saw quite an angular reaction down lane. For me here, I think I've got this about 6 and 4 difference.
Wow.
And about a foot earlier.
Yeah. But you can see by the time it got there, it was in the same spot.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a show. So until next time, guys, we'll see you laneside.